Lovely stuff. How do you pronounce your name again?
Levze.
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 Yeah.
Levze. If I get that wrong, I'm sorry. Welcome to Life of Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you for choosing to join into this week's episode. This video is part of my new series where I take everyday people and make over their hair. So Lesva, hopefully I've got that correct, is our model today, and she's travelled down from London for me to cut her hair. Now she's got a beautiful purple colour on that she did herself, and to be honest, if people colour their hair themselves, I really don't mind. I have no preconceived ideas about people colouring their own hair. Please, if it looks good, go for it. So we won't ask her about that because that's going to be maybe for another day. If she ever wanted to change it, then she's welcome to come back and we'll do something different. But today we're going to focus solely on the haircut. So let's have a little chat about your haircutting experiences in the past and things that you've loved and the things that you hated, and probably start with the things that you've not enjoyed before we worry about the things you have enjoyed.
Sure, yeah. So the things that I don't like is when layers are cut inwards.
Cool.
I've had that quite a lot and I really hate it, and even though I've asked people not to do it, they still layer it that way.
Yes.
I think that's about it. That's the main problem I have with people cutting my hair, or they say they don't know how to deal with thick hair and then they just cut hair out and thin it, and I don't like thinning.
So you like a heavier shape, and you don't want it to look rounded.
No, not like inwards.
Not inwards.
Like
yes, kind of out, coming out this way. Cool.
Yeah.
Lesva has got an enormous amount of hair. I don't know if you can get that on the screen. Maybe you can, but it is really, really thick. I haven't even touched it yet, but I can see how much hair is on her head. So obviously, when we're thinking about the right kind of haircuts, we will want to reduce some of the bulk, but then obviously we don't want to be thinning the hair because that's something that Lesva doesn't like. So we are then left with only a few options for haircuts. Doesn't want it to come in, so we wouldn't want to put any kind of uniform layer onto the hair. We wouldn't want to do anything that takes the bulk away from in here and pushes the shape round. So for me, we are then left with kind of one of two options. Basically, we can cut a very traditional square layer shape, which will look superb. Alternative to that, we can cut a concave layer shape where it's shorter, coming out to longer, leaving the weight in the bottom, stopping the roundedness, but also giving us more height, more movement. So one of the things I briefly spoke on the phone, but obviously we saved the consultation for you guys to be able to see it firsthand. So one of the things that you mentioned on the phone was that the hair was feeling flat and you wanted a little bit more oomph in it. Yeah. And you tend to just let it dry naturally in this form, or?
Yeah, so I've just put some curl product in and diffused it, and that's how I usually style it.
Great, okay, good. So nice and easy on the styling front, and that's always really important to find out. We don't want to give this lady a haircut that is going to be very, very difficult for her to manage on her own time, because I think that's a common sin, if you will, of hairdressing, is that we then do haircuts and give hairstyles that look fantastic today and, well, rubbish tomorrow. And I think that's something that I've had, you've had, even as a hairdresser, you've probably have experienced that. And so for me, I think it's really, really important that we kind of acknowledge the fact that happens, that's a real thing, and you will be responsible for someone's hair feeling exactly like that. But it's okay, we can just hold our hands up and say, you know what, that's the way it goes, we shan't worry about it, but we need to be mindful of going forward, because mistakes are okay providing we learn from them. So the starting point of what don't you like always gives us the best foundation, because we can massively avoid that. We can now massively avoid hair that comes in here and becomes round. We can massively avoid thinning her hair so that she doesn't get something she doesn't want. So if we avoid those two things, we're going to probably be in the right ballpark and she's going to be happy. So start at that point of what don't you like and then work backwards to what you're going to be able to achieve. Remember, I started at what I don't like, and then I was only left with two options, because 99.9% of all of you out there will probably only have 6 to 9 haircuts that you do 95% of the time. So the truth of the matter is there isn't that many options, and of course you can narrow those options down very, very quickly and get to what is going to be the right result for the client on that day in a pretty succinct amount of time. So hopefully that's given a good insight into how I've thought about this consultation. We've asked about lifestyle, we've asked about what she doesn't like. She's given us really clear and concise answers on both of those things. So I feel very confident to say that probably a concave layer is going to be the way forward here. It's going to give more volume. It's not going to eat into the ends very much, so we're not going to get that rounded effect, but it's definitely going to give the hair more oomph and it's going to give it a whole different vibe without it feeling thinned out or rounded into the bottom edge, which is the two things that we were going to avoid, like the Blake. How does that sound to you? More oomph and nice bit of texture in the hair here, you know, giving this a bit of lift but still retaining that fuller feeling through the bottom and not giving you that rounded shape.